Hello. Good morning. This is really early for me. I'm excited because Nashisha Henderson is going to be joining me. Nashisha is a good friend of mine that we met when we were stationed at a Navy base. And she's been married for 25 years. And her husband has been in the Navy for, I believe, 13 years. They also have 5 kids. Good to see you. I was trying to think, when was the last time we saw you? Was that probably 2015?
Yeah, I think that was.
Okay, so it's been a bit.
It has. We'll have to come and see you in
I
Colorado.
would love that. There's a lot to do, a lot of outside stuff to do, which I know you like to do.
Yes, it's one of our favorite places, really. Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, you definitely need to come because now that we are empty nesters, we have lots of
Ooh,
space.
that would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, we could accommodate you all. And because I do ministry with cadets, I have lots of beds.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
We do travel with
Good.
air mattresses, so.
No, we're good. We got you covered. Well, thanks so much for agreeing to do this with me. I don't know a ton about Navy life, so you are a great resource, and just want to share with some of the gals. It was interesting because my dad was a civil service Navy for a while, and they did the life that you described. And so my mom was like, the post I did yesterday, she was like, that was our life when you were little. So I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I wanted to start off. Can you describe the normal sea tour workups that are usually part of Navy life? In case there's somebody watching that's not Navy today, I think there's a lot of parallels to just normal deployment, but I also think maybe it's a little harder. So could you just describe that?
Yes, absolutely. So when a sailor is assigned to sea duty, basically you are, assigned to the ship. So wherever the ship goes, you're going to go. So to keep a ship operating at full capacity, you have to keep it running just to, check systems and keep up with maintenance of all the equipment. So typically a ship would need to be out to sea to be kept up with. So sea duty consists of workups, which help all the operators determine what needs to be kept up or replaced. So workups can really be months. They can be for periods of weeks at a time, a week in, week out. It just is very flexible. So workups lead to sea trials. Once all of the equipment is maintained or replaced, they have to take the ship to sea to run a trial. It's like a test. Before you go out to, before you leave on deployment, you want to make sure that the ship is healthy and going to function. So they do sea trials, which can be any given amount of time. And then if all things pass at that point, then a deployment typically is on the horizon. So that can be 6-7 months longer if necessary, really depending on the mission. Yeah. So once the ship comes back, there's just a rotation.
Keep going.
Oh yeah, there's just that rotation. So after a deployment, they'll return, and then the better operating the ship is, the longer life it's going to have. So that rotation starts all over again. Yeah.
So this is a little bit like the Army. They have to go out in the field and go to the National Training Center in preparation for leaving. It's different for the Air Force because we don't have to stay up in the airplanes for that long, right? You can just do a short fly the plane around, make sure it's working, practice your mission, and come back. If my husband heard me saying that, he'd probably say that is not what we're doing. It's so much more technical than that. But that's my interpretation. Okay, well, that's great. And I really think that added a lot to my understanding because I kind of thought that the Navy's like, yeah, you're gone 6 months, you're home 6 months, gone 6 months, home 6 months. But it's really not that way. You're gone 6 months and then you're in and out.
You're in and out.
And then you're gone.
Right. Yeah. Could be a week, 2 weeks. You could be back for a few days and then you leave again. Times shift all the time. So it's very flexible and there's not a set schedule.
Well, that was a nice way to say hard. Good job. Good job. All right. When your husband is gone, either for workups or 6 months rotation on the boat, what tips do you have to help ease his integration back into the home and family, especially since he's like, he may be coming for a little bit and going back out and coming and going and coming and going.
Really, at the beginning, you just kind of you're just excited to have him back, and you feel like you're just he's a puzzle piece. He's going to blend right back in, take off where he left last. Like, oh, he can take our son to soccer practice, and you have that kind of mentality, when really in real life, having no expectation is much better. Allowing him to fully recover, him or her, just to fully recover and regroup when they're able is the best. They are not sleeping well. The ship is a 24/7 command station, so it doesn't shut down for business hours. They're working all hours of the night. There's alarms going off. There are emergencies. So even if they're sleeping, they're not sleeping at their best capacity. So just allowing them to come home, recover, and then integrate slowly, as they're able to is really the best way to help you to remain, best partners, fewer fighting, just having that expectation. You carry on as normal. Just keep your routine going. And sometimes by the time they're fully recovered, it's time for them to go again. So that allows you just to stay on track, and you're not having to shift your schedule and your way of thinking as they're coming in and out. You're just continuously operating. Just keep going.
Yeah. Wow, that's hard. That's really hard. Hey, I see that my daughter joined, so you should say hi. Grace,
Hey,
you see
Grace.
Mrs. Henderson? Um, so, wow, that's really hard, Nashisha. Do you feel like how long did it take you to figure out this, like, I have to have no expectations?
It took probably a few rough workups, like sessions. Just, you're excited to have them return. You're like, oh yes, I can have a break. Everything breaks or people get sick. And just after having confrontation and understanding, oh, okay, you were only sleeping so many hours a day. There are emergencies. Just having a better understanding as to what he was experiencing just allowed me the opportunity to back off and give him space. And then he would naturally integrate and help out where he was able to, but there wasn't that pressure coming from me, which caused, strife and just allowed a lot more happiness.
Yeah, and I feel like this is common. I interviewed a gal whose husband is an RPA pilot. And so he goes to work and goes to war, and then he comes home. And so she was kind of saying the same thing, but basically she has to just be super understanding and recognize, I don't know what he did today.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really hard. I wish we could do a better job giving like a introduction to a course called Have No Expectations. Yes. So, well, it's really helpful what you're sharing. Okay, so this is my question for you now. If you could talk to your younger self and give yourself any advice about being a Navy wife, what would you tell your younger self?
So we have 5 children, so it's a pretty big family. So becoming overly busy is very easy for our family to, get into that situation. So talking to my younger self, our children would have been much younger. So, all the mom and me classes, all the fun little activities that you feel like your children need to be a part of. As time has gone on, I've worked on setting boundaries, for myself between me and organizations or just different ministry requests, like just trying to figure out what I could balance as a mom. But beyond that, I feel like I've had to learn how to set boundaries for myself, with myself, if that makes sense. Being able to tell myself, no, it's okay. It's okay if, my children aren't signed up for every single class that they would love to take, or it's okay if they miss the soccer season for this season. Sea duty is very busy. Any deployment assignment is going to require you to sacrifice something just to remain a constant mother, in their life, stable, less stressed, just a better, healthy environment, atmosphere for everybody. So I would have loved to have been able to tell myself no. It's taken me years to just really understand that. Your family can be busy, but usually we set schedules depending on our spouse being included, so we can partner. We partner all the sports practices and different events that we put ourselves into. So really balancing your schedule, excluding them, even if they're home in and out, like for workups or whatnot. Don't set your schedule up, which you would need them typically. Set it up where you are able to fully operate it in a healthy manner.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, since I've been doing these interviews for a few months now, I'm learning a lot of stuff that I wish I knew, when we were serving. But yeah, I think when your spouse is deployed, like, less is more.
Yes.
And we put so much pressure on ourselves to, like, be doing all the things. And our kids would really be happier if mom wasn't stressed out and freaking out and getting angry, more frequently. If we just, like, took the temperature down by not doing all the things. And I think it's really hard for military wives to ask for help.
Yes.
And it's really, really hard for us to say no. I feel like military spouses are some of the most capable, smart, amazing people. But we have to say, it would be better for me to be less busy so that I can be more present with my children and be more patient. I mean, because let's face it, I can't even imagine. You had 5 children. I can't imagine that. And actually, I know you so well, Nashisha. You have a lot of patience. So let me tell you, those of you out listening, if Nashisha is telling you to do less, to have more patience, listen, because she is a really patient person.
Thank you.
So you really, really need to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the way you said, like, plan your life as if you're a single mom. And that's hard because we're not single moms, but we definitely have seasons of single parenting.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I think there's also, like, the stress of, well, I'll speak for myself. This might not be you, but, like, the stress of, okay, I need to not say things about the fact that my husband isn't doing his fair share.
Right.
Right. So trying to manage that too, because that's the right thing to do, but it's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you do that, Nashisha? How did you kind of keep your mouth shut?
I think just having an appreciation for what they are doing. He's a chaplain, so he's in the ministry within the military, and I just see how much passion he has for the people that he's working with and working for. So I allow that to fill my heart rather than, thinking about all the to-do lists, the tasks that are undone, or the doctor's appointment. Like, I've sat in pharmacies for 3 hours with 5 children. And while it would
that is a normal part of military life. I mean, I didn't have 5 children, but you sit there forever, and the kids are maniacs.
It's insane.
When they're in the pharmacy.
Yes. So while it would be so amazing to have him, be able to take off work and, come and grab the kids, he's not there. He's gone. So I try to find something funny. Like, if it goes crazy, I just try to look at the humor in it and try to make joy come out of the stress or the trials.
Yeah, that's such great advice, Nashisha. Such great advice. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nashisha. This has been super helpful, and you've given us a lot of practical stuff. And so I think this applies to everybody in the military because we do have seasons of our husband's gone. And also, you kind of mentioned like you keep your focus on the fact that your husband, has a calling.
Mhm.
And I actually think that applies to any of
Yeah,
us, because I think that a calling or serving in the military is not just a job.
right.
It's a calling. It's something they feel an obligation to do.
Mhm.
And I think if we can get behind that calling, and recognize like how important this is to them and see it as a joint calling, to try to be more supportive and to say, who can we impact? I believe all of us
Mhm.
can be on mission, even when we're in the military.
I
So
agree.
I love that you asked. Well, thanks so much, Nashisha. It was really good to see
You
you.
too.
Hopefully we can see each
Yes.
other soon.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.